Yeah, hearing Ross talk about Chucky and what the last statement he's really known for. It's time, and we're excited to say that it's time again for a football season here at the University of Mississippi, and our kids are excited along with our staff and our fans and everyone around our program. We call this the journey that we're on, and this year 3 of the journey, and we can't wait to get it started out on the field. There's been a great off season of work led by Paul Jackson, who we're blessed to have leading our off season strength and conditioning. We are also pleased with the academic achievement and improvements that we've had in that regard. This is the year 3 of the journey. Is the first time today that I can stand before you guys on the first day of camp, and everyone's eligible, and we're not scrambling around trying to get someone eligible at this point, which is a great testimony to our academic support staff and the job that they've done, and our kids' heightened awareness of what really is important, and that is getting their education. And along with all of those things, we're thrilled the vision of our administration, led by Dr. Jones and, of course, Ross, continues to improve things around this great place, and you get to see some of that even today, and it continues to help our kids hopefully see the vision of our administration and our coaching staff is that we become the best that we can be here at the flagship university, and in regards to being relevant in our areas of academic achievement and getting our degree, and also competing in the Southeastern Conference, which obviously is, if you're competing there, you're relevant, and that's our goal this year. So we're excited to get going. We've got a complete staff back, which I think speaks volumes for this place, and again our support that we have. We're a group that's very much like-minded. Our families enjoy being together, and we just had our last little get-together, which is our staff retreat up at Pickwick Lake, and we had our annual softball game. The coaches, the husbands and the sons, play the wives and the daughters. It was a great game, and the husbands came from behind and won 5-4 in the last inning. So it was very competitive, and that's what we want from our team this year is to be super competitive. So we're excited about getting going, and I know you have tons of questions, so let's jump right in.
What are your immediate goals for August practice after evaluating spring? What's your emphasis going to be on in August?
Developing depth, more depth, particularly at key positions. Staying healthy, which is a quandary in my mind that I go through every single day of being fast and physical, which we were in spring. I could not be more pleased. But now we really feel like we have a team that can be good. Hopefully we can go from good to great. But everything changes if you have injuries. So the line that you worry about, particularly with us, still having some depth issues, is how do you get done what you need to and develop depth and create a competitive, juiced practice and still stay as healthy as you can. So we've got to create some more depth. I think we know what some of our guys can do. Hopefully some guys need to, physically I really like where they are, but they need to develop some mentally. We've got to put them in some adverse situations and see how they respond, because they'll be in some very soon, August 28th to be exact, and try to develop them mentally. But continue to improve the buy-in. Our theme this year is all in. It comes from a book I read, and our staff has gone through the book this summer, and now it's time for us to try to translate what we've taken from it to our kids and show them what the characteristics are of being all in. And if we can get the percentage to be all in up in the 80s and 90s, we've got a chance to be a special team.
Hugh, two things, I guess. Is there anybody who's not ready to go because of injuries? And also, some of the guys that are athletes, where are they going to start on their side of the ball?
Chief Brown it will be out for the year. That's very unfortunate for him. Christian Morris is ready to go. The only other one that may not be ready to go day one would be Woody. But he will do some things. When I say he's going to be at practice, will be dressed out, can he go full tilt live? And I'm not sure. We're going to evaluate him in endo and kind of see how he responds. We feel good about where he's at, but we don't want to rush it. So I believe that's the only injuries that we have. And then positions. Can you say some names for me? C.J. Moore's going to start at defensive back, either Rover or Husky. DK will be a Husky. Liggins will be a tight end.
Coach, can you talk about Treadwell moving outside and then what you see from the other wide receivers?
I think Treadwell moving outside is where it's his natural position. He's a very physical blocker, which helps us on the edge. We'll continue to move him around. He'll be primarily an outside guy, but I think we never got to see him really down the field too much last year because that's kind of really not who we are with the slot guy too much. You'll get to see more of that. I think he's a very difficult guy for corners to press because he's so physically strong. He's a lot like Dante, maybe not as fast straight ahead, but gets in and out of breaks maybe a little better. And he's excited about the outside guys. Typically have the chance to make more explosive plays, and of course he's excited to do that. Really like the way he's worked. His body looks really good. He's physically ready. We've got to continue to help him move mentally into year 2 of his journey here with us. But I really like the mental frame he's in right now going into camp. He really wants to be a leader, and we just got to help myself and Coach Hurd help show him what that really looks like. Other receivers feel, we're probably not as deep there as I would like to be. I've said all along, again, that it would take us 3 years to get the depth exactly right. But I like the ones we have. I think Quincy Attaboy Joe could have a breakout year. Vince Sanders, I think, is very underrated. And hopefully he can stay healthy and have a special senior year. And I think, the new kids in Markell and Dayal, and of course we moved Burdette back over to slot also to give us some depth there. And then you got Cody Core, and hopefully Collins will be back with us very soon. And seems like I'm missing one. Y'all help me. I hate to miss people up here, but did I miss somebody, David? Sammy's going to start at tight end at the H. He and Evan will both work out there. But the thing with our offense, as you know, Evan and Sammy both can look like a receiver. We can line them up wherever we want. So feel good about the way they can play in space.
Hugh, obviously, getting T academically eligible is significant. I mean, what is your expectation for him in his first year in his debut season? Do you expect him to come in and challenge for his first spot?
I expect T to come in and be hopefully a lockdown corner that we may have been missing. He's got the size and the strength and the speed, and he's physical. I love his demeanor. The guy smiles all the time, and he's excited to be here. And I like our depth at corner. It's the first time I can say that, but I really like it. I think you got some good possibilities there with he and Sinquez and Kalo and Derek Jones and Cliff Coleman, Carlos Davis. And I'm probably leaving somebody else out there too. But I think we've got some. And depending on where we play Hilton, Hilton is one of the best football players on our team. So when I'm hesitant about where he's playing, it's not because we're going to find somewhere he'll be on the field. He's that good. When we did our cut-ups, he stood out. He's a football player, and whether we play him at corner or now with Chief going down, we've got to do some shuffling. It took a little depth out of our safety rotation, but so we'll have to do some moving around. But I expect T to come in and compete right away.
Hugh, you've talked a lot about the offensive line depth being a concern and that kind of thing. As you start fall camp, kind of a twofold question. Do you have to be – extra careful with the guys that you know are ready to play? And then two, do you have to sort of force depth there?
Yeah, we've got to be careful with, looking at it. We're okay inside, I think, depth-wise, but on the edges we're very, very thin. Obviously, we have a special one in Laramie, and we hope and pray that he has a healthy, outstanding year, and we hope Fawn Cooper is exactly what we thought he would be, and then we got to start getting depth ready behind those guys. And Conyers is going to have to learn both positions, both center and tackle. Rod Taylor's going to have to learn guard and tackle. We've got Davion's going to have to learn tackle, and we're thin on the edges. It's nothing. We hopefully can keep them healthy. We've got to fix that in recruiting, and we feel like one more class should help with that. But we do have to be careful with the ones who we know what they can do and get them game ready, but hopefully not any injuries.
Hugh, you talked about over here. You talked about the team has a chance to go from good to great this year and everything. You've done this before at different schools, kind of reaching that next level. Is it more of a physical transition? Is it getting them better at football, or is it a mental thing? Is it some sort of hurdle up in the head?
It's a little of both and some luck, to be very candid, particularly in this conference. You need the ball to bounce your way and to make the field goal here, and them miss one here, and you're going to need all of that to go from good to great. There's nothing wrong with being good, obviously, but we're striving to be great and be. How do we measure that? I don't know. I mean, people will measure it with wins and losses. I try not to get caught up in that. I will measure it by the preparation and the attitude and the little things that we do, and then continue to recruit. And when I say good to great, I don't know if that occurs in this year or if it takes one more class to get us to that point. I'm more concerned with each individual, whether it's our manager or coach or player, as an individual really striving to go from good to great. And if all of that happens, the results we'll be okay with.
Coach, any reaction on Nebraska coach Bo Pelini's recent comments on Stringfellow's recruitment? They were kind of stinging.
Leave it to Chuck. I think it's, I don't know, I think it's bad form anytime, coaches that we're colleagues in this together, and I think all coaches are for kids in general, and we certainly we're confident in the way our coaching staff goes about doing things. I reached out to him actually and said, hey, if you have something that I don't know, man, please call me, and I've gotten no response. So I don't know, but I will say this: the lady I dealt with was very charming and intelligent and very observant, and and I think there are a lot of reasons that it may have gone our way, but I don't know. We certainly, I'm sure he had a reason he said it, but we're glad we have String and his mom.
Hugh, can you talk a little bit about D.T. Shackelford, what you saw from him this spring, and just where you think he is in terms of coming back?
He's definitely healthier this go-round than he was at the start of last season. He still had a little hitch in his giddy-up, so to speak, at the beginning of camp last year. And we were a bit uncertain of where exactly we thought he was best fit. We're certain of where he's going to start this camp. He's more healthy. He's obviously very mature. He's one of the leaders in the locker room. He's a great model of a student athlete. He's the Chucky Mullins Award winner and all of those things. So we sure have our fingers crossed that he has a healthy, successful year. We need him to play well in the middle.
Hugh, you said that Christian Morris was ready to go. Is there any update on the waiver process? Is he cleared
I
yet?
haven't heard. He's not cleared to play in competition yet. He can practice, of course. Same thing with String. They both are. It's in the appeal process, and I really have no timetable or no idea how to tell you when those will come.
Hugh, how much are you going to miss having a veteran guy like Brunetti to be a backup and be a guy that can spare Bo if he needs to play off or if his health?
Yeah, we need to take some hits off Bo for sure, and Barry did quite a nice job of coming in and giving us a change up. I am confident though that as we continue to recruit, we still have the likes of people that can do that, and whether you want a 300-pounder in Jeremy Liggins doing it or Anthony Alford, who could probably do some nice things there also, and then we're confident in Ryan and Kincaid also.
And kind of a follow-up, how is that battle going through the spring? What have you seen and how have they developed?
Both have improved. They obviously need to continue to improve. They're still young. The good thing about those two now is they both used their red shirt, so I'm not. I don't feel like I'm hurting the kid and his future by throwing him in there for a series here and there to see what he can do. But I think right now, if something happened and we had to play them, the situation would dictate which one would go in. Ryan probably is a little ahead at being a pocket passer, while Kincaid's probably a little ahead if we can run the entire scope of our offense.
Coach, what would make you happiest as you break camp and head for Atlanta?
Healthy.
Can you expand on that? What's the one thing you want to see throughout this camp?
Well, I'm confident that going into year 3, they kind of understand what the non-negotiables are, and that is we're going to have great attitude and we're going to practice with great effort. You're not going to be perfect on every play, but you can have perfect effort, and that's what my expectations are throughout camp. And if we can have perfect effort with great attitude, everyone continue to buy in and be all into the little things, and we're healthy going into week 1, I will be a very, very happy coach when we head to Atlanta.
Coach, we've talked about offense and defense. You lost both seniors, special guys, kickers. Yeah. Where are you with that? You've got a freshman who's coming in, very accoladed. Is he going to make a difference?
It's wide open. They don't let me watch those guys during the summer, so I'm really anxious. I'm anxious. I'm probably as most anxious to when we go out our first time to see our field goal kicker competition, and our punting guys. I've seen the punter. He was here this spring, and it's still a competitive battle there. But I think Gleason has the edge right now as far as the punting duties. The kicking duty is wide open. I expect Andy and Gary to have a great competition for that, and maybe Fletcher too. I think Nathan Noble will handle the kickoff duties, but that is a question mark on our team. That is something that could keep us from being great. But I am kind of excited. I think we have some guys that could be really good.
Coach, what summer reports have you gotten from Bo's rehab, his trip out to USC, him throwing 7-on-7? What are your update on that?
The only person I really talked to is Bo about that, and he's as confident as I've ever seen him. Says it's the first time in 3 years that he hasn't got a pain when throwing and a little hitch in his shoulder, and he's really confident. And I love the way, his body's gained 12 to 15 pounds, which, he wasn't able to do any of that in the past off season. He was just rehabbing, and they wouldn't even let him, run or do anything because of the chance of falling. So feel very confident he's in the best shape, both mentally and physically, that he's been in since he's been here.
Hugh, you talked about a couple weeks ago in Birmingham that the improvements Liggins had made, lost some weight and taken the steps you wanted to see. How is that giving you more excitement after what you saw in the spring to what you'll see starting tomorrow?
Yeah, Jeremy is one of my favorite kids. Even though he ripped my heart out at one point in the recruiting process, but we're glad he made his way back home. And he's such an athletic, big guy that the possibilities of what he could end up playing. He's starting at tight end, like I told Hugh earlier, but that doesn't mean that's exactly where he'll end up. I mean, he could play a lot of things, and people like that, they certainly help your football team. And we can move him around if we have some depth issues maybe to help us get through the season, because he's just so athletic for a big guy. And he really wants to do well for this university, and I believe that with all my heart. So excited to have him.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about your philosophy and how you handle talking with the players about moving them to different positions? And then as a kind of a related, can you talk a little bit about that discussion with Channing and how he's handling moving from defense to offense?
Channing's actually going to be back at defense, so I should have said that also. But so we moved him around several times, just trying to find a way to get him on the field, more snaps. I bring them in and just try to be very candid with them about every kid wants to play. They want to play in front of their parents, in front of their friends, represent their university, and they want to do well. It doesn't always work out for every single person. That's life. It didn't, I wasn't good enough to play at the level that I wanted to or that I thought I should and all of that, but that's the way life goes, and it's our job to help them navigate those issues in life. And one of the issues is it could be anything from changing a jersey number to positions. I don't ever believe in doing that without having a conversation with them first. And each one, most guys on this team, they embrace, if it's an opportunity that they believe they have a chance to contribute more, they would be all for it, I believe. But Channing and I have had several talks over the course of the summer, and I think he wants to move back to the defensive side. He will probably have one package offensively that he can do. That's all we would ask him to learn on that side. And hopefully everything comes together for him, and he kind of turns it loose and plays with a higher motor and not somewhat confused, which has kind of been what he's been going through. And he's such an athletic kid. Watch him run down on kickoff team, you think he should, be an all-SEC performer, and hopefully he will be before he leaves here. But he's excited to move back, and we're excited to see if it all comes together for him. I mean, sometimes, I love you guys, but sometimes these kids go through the recruiting process, and they come in with such high buildup. And when things don't immediately happen, the public or even people close to them and internally maybe feel like they aren't what they were told they were, and we forget they're just freshmen again. And one of the great things about coaching is you get to see kids develop, and his development is still occurring as so many others. And we just got to keep all the outside stuff out and just continue to develop him as a young man and as a player, and hopefully that he'll start seeing the fruits of his labor this year.